Hello and welcome to my third video on how to make your own mini games. In this video, as I said in the last video, I'll be taking care of awarding points, making sure your players can't jump off the map make sure the players can't move once they're teleported, and then give them the freedom to move again once the minigame starts. And I'll also have it so you can display the message up here instead of printing it. So we're going to start with teleporting. One thing I forgot to do in the last video was call this function. So we're going to call it right now. So what this does is whenever a player leaves, it'll send it to this function as the player who left, and it's going to search the minigame for make sure there's a minigame by making sure it isn't 0. Then it's gonna look through the temp contestants of the current minigame and delete them. So that's done, and now we gotta disable their movement. So go to where you teleport them, and it's very easy, just v.character.humanoid.walk_speed equals 0. Then we're going to disable their jumping too, with jump power equals 0. Now, since we have that, they won't be able to move when the minigame starts at all, so they're just going to be stuck there until the timer ends, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to loop through the temp contestants, and I'm going to set all the temp contestants walk speed and jump power to the default. Now since we aren't looping through actual players, we're looping through object values. We can't forget to have the dot value here, because the dot value is the player. If it was just v, we'll be trying to get a character from an object value, which doesn't have a character. Okay, so the default walk speed is 16, and the default jump power is 50. You could change it if you're doing like space minigames or something. You want them to be able to jump higher. But I'm just going to leave it at the defaults because that's not the kind of minigames I'm making. That's done, so here I'll go to the minigame script because I want the minigames to award points depending on what minigame it is. So a harder minigame will award you 10 points or 30 points, and an easy one will give you 5 points. So for IV in pairs, functions.winners do. Remember, functions.winners is this here, and we get a new winner every time someone touches the end part. So yeah, that's that, and here we just award them points. So we're going to make sure they exist, then we're going to make sure they have leader stats, and we're going to make sure that they have points in their leader stats. And then we do v.leaderstats.points.value equals v.leaderstats.points.value plus, and then the amount of points you want to give them for this mini game. Since they're just running a straight path, I'll give them 5 points. And yeah, that's it for this, I'm pretty sure. And for teleporting, there's an error I encountered in the last video. We're gonna need to check if they have a character, and we have to check if they have a primary part. The character's primary part is their head, and we can't teleport them if they don't have the head. And we also can't teleport them if they don't even have a character. So we have to check both. And I'm pretty sure that's it for teleporting. I'm going to test it out after I add one thing. Here, I want the player to respawn the moment they touch the end part. There's a useful function for this called load character. It's part of the player. So player load character. This will respawn their character. You'll see. Choosing a minigame to play. Okay, we can't move. Perfect. So everything works right now. And I got my points. Wonderful. And right now it's going through an intermission that it doesn't tell me about. But I'll add that right now. So go to your main script. Give them a couple seconds to read that the minigame ended. Then you're going to count down from 10 or however long you want it to be. Okay, so this is going to make a message from 10 to 1 counting down. And the number will be in parentheses. So now I won't just say minigame ended and then make them wait 10 seconds not knowing what happened. Okay, the minigame has ended. Intermission 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and yeah. But I don't want it down here, because what if I have this closed or I'm not in studio and I need to be able to see it? I could open the developer console and see it here, but not many people know how to do that. So I'm gonna add a GUI here. You can design this GUI however you want. I don't want a frame, I want a text label. I'm just gonna give it a transparent background, stretch it across the screen, and have it 24 pixels tall. Then I'm gonna change the text size to 24, make it black, give it a white thing, and then there. And that kind of looks weird, so I'll change the font source sans bold. Alright. That'll work. And okay, so the GUI is down. I'm just going to call it message label because it's going to be the text label that displays the message. Now you have to create a local script here. It has to be a local script, not a server script, because we have filtering enabled. And it would break if you use, it just wouldn't work if you used a regular script. So in this local script, create a function. I'm going to call it refresh. And every time this function is called, it's going to change this text label's text to whatever a string value is going to be. So I'm going to create a string value in here. Replicated storage. Make sure it's replicated storage, not replicated first. It has to be replicated storage. And I'm just going to call it message. I'm going to do script.parent, which is the screen's UI, and then dot message label dot text equals game dot replicated storage dot message dot value. And then once game dot replicated storage dot message is changed, so whenever the text here changes, I'm going to call refresh. Now that's not all we need, because let's say a player, oh wait, I forgot to add it in main. Remember the global function you made here? That's why it's a function, because it's a lot easier that way. Because you only have to change one line. And that's change the value to text. So then I'll set this to whatever is put here. And I clearly did something wrong. Okay, so the problem was I closed the output so I couldn't see the problem, but I was trying to call changed. I forgot to put connect. And this will make it so now it will work, see? But it still doesn't work completely, because say someone were to join or reset when the minigame starts, they won't be able to see the change. They'll see the whatever text I had default. I'm pretty sure it was just label. Here, I'll show you when the intermission ends. Okay, I reset. Choosing a minigame to play, and see, for that split second it said label, and sometimes that split second could be a lot longer. So to change that, all you got to do is add refresh, and this will refresh it whenever they respawn. So if I were to reset now, you don't see a label ever. Alright, I got all that done, and yeah, in the next video I'll be covering data stores, so saving the points when they leave, and I'll also be doing the objective thing. Remember this? I'm going to have a GUI down here or in the middle of the screen saying whatever the objective is. So that's all for today, and I'll see you in the next one.